Hi guys, this is our Module 6, my Module 6 reflection, where we were talking about Google. I actually have a lot of experience with Google. Last year I was a library technician, and so I was in charge of the library, but I was also in charge of all the computers in the school that the students use, the teachers use, and so the students use Chromebooks. So everything is Google based. They use, Google Slides, Sheets, Docs, whatever, you name it. So my thoughts after going through Units 3 and 4 from the Google Fundamental Training, I I enjoyed reading over it. I do feel like a lot of that information I was aware of. There were a few things that I didn't know about. Like for example, one thing specifically was about the Google Sites, which I think is actually new. But students and teachers being able to make their own websites from Google, I think that is awesome. I literally, when I was reading it, I was thinking about one of the sixth grade teachers at the school that I work with. She did a unit where the students had to make websites, and she had to have some website like unblocked from the server so that the students could get on it to make this website. So I really I almost just emailed her to let her know about it, because that might be something she can use next year for that lesson. Um, are the Google Educator certifications something you would consider completing in the future? Definitely. I would definitely consider that. I think a Google Education, looking through that, I think I would definitely use that. Especially in a school like what I work with now, where everything's saved through Google. You have Google Chrome, the Chromebooks that the kids use, that's everything. So I would definitely complete that. And I do think it would be, having that certification would make you more marketable as a future job applicant. I would definitely put that on my resume as a future teacher. Describe your experience working with a Google Slide spreadsheet and or presentation document. What are the advantages and disadvantages to the Google apps as compared to Microsoft Word, Excel, and or PowerPoint? So I've used Google Slides, spreadsheets, presentations, um, Docs, Google Forms. So Google Slides is basically like PowerPoint. It's where you can make a presentation. Google Sheets is like Excel, so that's where you would do your spreadsheets. Um, Google Forms is where you can make quizzes, which I did not know about until this year. And as the librarian, we do this, it's called a William Allen White Challenge. And the students have to read these books, and then the librarian has to give them these quizzes over these books. And then the students have to take them and they have to pass them, and then there's like a prize at the end. So I had to make these quizzes. It was kind of rough because I hadn't read the books yet and the kids were reading them faster than I was. Um, but I just went into Google Forms and I made these quizzes, and I was able to send them to the student when they finished the book and they could take it. And all of the information from their quiz came back to me. So I knew what they scored, I knew what they got wrong, what they got right. If I wanted to use, to do data, to collect data, it would collect data for you. Um, I think Google Forms is a really great thing. The advantages of it is that using all that stuff is all in one place. You can share it with other people, which means that if you're working on a project with multiple people, they can be working on it at the same time as you at a different location, and all those changes will show up on the document. But you can also go back and you can look at all the changes that were made, and you can even restore like a previous version if needed. And I used that a lot, restoring different versions. I had students come in all the time, and they're like, it deleted all my text on my Google Doc and blah, blah. So you just go into, you know, there's a thing that you click, and you can click on it and it shows you the dates that it was edited, who it was edited by. You can click on those different ones and you can restore to that version. So I think that's great about Google. The only thing is with, I don't have a lot of experience with Google compared to like Microsoft. Google Slides, I think PowerPoint has is a little more in depth. Excel, I feel like, has way more options than Google Sheets. But I've worked in Excel for a really long time. But again, I think the best advantage of all is that you can share those documents. Like right now, I'm working at the school over the summer, but I'm like painting classrooms, and so I have like a to-do list that I made with the superintendent. And so I have that typed up in a Google Sheet, and there's an option to put little check marks next to them. So I am checking them off as I do them, and that way he can see my progress because I shared it with him, so he can see what I'm doing. So I think there's a lot of advantages. I think you could do with one or the other. I don't think if you have Google, you don't necessarily have to have the Microsoft option. If you have Microsoft, you don't necessarily have to have the Google option. I think they can equally replace each other. It just kind of depends on your preference. I originally had a preference for Microsoft Office, but the more I work with Google, I'm starting to really like it. So, have a good night.